We were expecting the Prime Minister to come to the Commons later today. What are you expecting him to say?
I'm expecting him to say that we will give military aid to Ukraine and we will introduce serious sanctions against Ukraine. I think Tom Tugendhat, the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee, got it right this morning when he said the original sanctions announced earlier this week was so poor that they possibly encouraged Putin to attack. He thought we weren't serious. We have to be more serious in our sanctions. And as your previous two speakers have said, that is a two-way street, and it will have some consequences for the United Kingdom and the people who live here.
Big consequences. I suppose one of those two-way streets that we heard a little bit about at Prime Minister's questions yesterday was the prospect of banning Russia Today, the Kremlin-backed television channel that peddles in false narratives from the Russian state. The worry for many is that if we were to ban Russia Today in this country, Russia would ban UK broadcasters in their country, particularly the BBC World Service that many people rely upon. Is there a worry that we may well be provoking a bigger backlash with some, not all, but some of these measures?
I suspect that debate in the Commons yesterday did Russia Today, which has a very small audience. I suspect it did them a lot of good. I don't think we should be looking at censorship now. I don't like Russia Today. It's an extraordinarily biased outlet sponsored by the Russian government. But is it going to do any serious damage? No. We're a liberal democracy. Let it put out its nonsense on a daily basis.
So that's interesting. You disagree with the sentiment of your leader and indeed the Culture Secretary on this. I wonder if potentially the political mood music in terms of banning broadcasters is shifting now.
I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I believe in free speech. I don't believe that Russia Today is an important thing. It isn't. Letting Russia Today broadcast is not going to change the view of very many, if anybody in this country. Quite the reverse. If you can see some of their prejudice stuff they put out, it might even help things. I think we do have to do some things in this country. Stopping broadcasting isn't one of them. We have been complacent not only in not taking action when Russia has invaded Georgia and the Crimea and they've attacked us in cyberspace. We have been complacent in making sure that we have security of supply of many of the minerals and many of the issues, again, your guests have talked about. I think the policy we've had in this country of buying gas and oil from Qatar or Russia or wherever and not using our own gas and oil supplies so that we have, it won't affect the price is determined internationally, but at least it would have given us security of supply. And I think that's true of many of the metals. We need to look to make sure in the West we have guaranteed supplies of those metals, of those materials and minerals that make our economy work. We don't have that security of supply at the moment, and that has been complacency, and we need to move in those areas. The same is true in agriculture. We have been talking within the last week in the Commons of putting over larger amounts of the countryside, not to growing our own food, but to rewilding places. Well, I'm in favour of doing everything we can to support ecology and nature, but primarily we have to make sure we can feed ourselves, and we import much food. So I think security of food, energy supplies, oil and gas and minerals is where we should be looking, because that two-way street gets more to our advantage if we can guarantee our own supplies.
Now, we're just hearing in the last few minutes that the Prime Minister will address the nation this morning. First an address to the nation and then appearing in Parliament later this afternoon. Graham Stringer, your immediate reaction to that?
Well, this is a major international crisis, and I think the Prime Minister needs to tell the country what he is thinking, what policies we're going to have. We've just been through some of those, and he certainly needs to come before the Commons and answer questions from members of Parliament. So I think that process is the right thing to do. Whether he's got it the right way round or not is a matter of procedure. I suspect he should speak to the Commons, to whom he's accountable before the nation, but that's a detail, really.